Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to round number 5 of the ARG Presents State Championship here in Florida. Miami, Florida, which by the way, Scotch is with me now.
Yeah, that's me.
Uh, it's the hottest place on earth. It's what I've learned. I've learned that Florida is the hottest place on earth, and it's still a good time though. It's still pretty.
Absolutely.
It's funny because when you live in the kind of climate I do, where it's like extremely cold all the time, you always think like I want to go live somewhere where it's nice and warm, so I don't have to deal with this anymore. And I've learned today I don't want to do that. That is incorrect. I want to stay where it's cold and I don't evaporate when I walk outside.
What makes it worse is the humidity outside too. Because
Yeah,
you walk out, it's like literally walking into a
there's no
swimming pool.
escape because usually it's like for me at least, like whenever you go someplace that's really hot, you just walk outside. It's cold.
Yeah,
If you live, back home, if it's cold inside, you go outside. It's hot. You just have the outside is your escape. Here, it's hot everywhere. It's hot inside. It's hot outside. There's no way to get away from it. Can't hear you,
absolutely.
Dusty. Okay.
You can't hear Dusty. Can you hear me? Ooh,
Ooh. Yeah, it looks like both mics are registering.
yeah, we're good. I mean,
Never mind, my bad.
rip
Okay.
the dream. See, the
Yeah.
chat's just trolling us now.
It's trolls. That's how it works. Anyway, we have Marcel Russell on the left playing Green Blue Super Saiyan Son Goku on the left, and then we have Leeroy Thomas on the right, our yellow player playing Green Red Cell. Both players are undefeated, I believe. Both players are off to a pretty good start here.
Yeah, I mean, I believe Marcel's actually X1. I believe he's X1.
Okay.
For those who don't know, I've spent.
So he's lost one game.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so. I've spent the entire morning basically being head judge for this event, so it's like
Yeah, how's
I
that
finally
been
get to
going?
sit down and watch. Like I'm excited. It's going smooth. It's going smooth.
Good.
Um, great crowd out here. It's a great crowd out here. There's a lot of intense matchups that have been happening, and I'm just
I'll tell you,
excited to get to
it feels
commentate.
like it feels like a regional. Honestly, there's like 100 people here, which is over capacity. They essentially I know that George told me they wanted to keep a couple of seats open for like locals who might show up and be like, "What's happening?" That kind of thing, and they got rid of all those as well. So yeah, a fantastic event's been super successful. Seen a lot of really cool decks. So what decks have you seen as a judge that you expect? I mean, did you expect to see a lot of cell decks today?
Oh, I absolutely did, and I also spent the entire morning explaining the bloodlust, like the ruling with bloodlust. But it's a lot of Cell, it's a lot of Goku, and surprisingly enough, there's quite a few Vegetas out there that are still trying to
I
keep the dream
know,
alive.
I know. I was actually a little surprised by that. We saw Eddie on stream actually doing that and actually winning. He actually beat a cell player, which I thought was almost an unwinnable matchup, especially with the new ruling. But no,
It's a
was not.
rough matchup, definitely. We're getting into this match a little bit here. Looks like we got a Mighty Mask on the board. We got TN. Well, Mighty Mask gone now because he's going to go ahead and do the search for it. We got the Kaba, and of course the Cell Leader doing Cell things. So on the other side, we've got Goku. So this is already an interesting matchup. It's going to be a very grindy matchup between these two. I actually like this matchup a
I do
lot.
too. I like it a lot too.
I'd rather play against Cell than Mecha Frieza any day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would rather personally, the Goku player, I would rather play against Cell than play against androids. Android just feels like it seems like such a hard matchup to win because you have two stages of stuff you have to do. You have to get around the Cell combo and then deal with their roided out androids that have 5,000 more power and absurd. With Cell, you just have to deal with the Cell chain. If you can deal with that, then usually you can do a pretty good job. So.
Yeah, and that's why they started teching in the red, because the red's like, hey, we're going to give you a little extra push here, a little umph instead of the one-trick pony that is Cell. So moving into it, it's definitely the kind of a matchup that I like to see, because that's where the skill really excels. You see the better player doing the better plays, and in the end, it's going to be the better player that wins, because both these decks are very high-level advanced decks to use.
Right, absolutely, absolutely, yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. Matchup's pretty cool. Usually Cell's able to kill 2 threats a turn, and usually Goku's able to play 2 threats a turn. So it's kind of this weird stalemate. That like the first person to break that path is the one who loses. So if Cell usually can't kill 2 threats a turn, then he'll kind of lose. If Goku can't play 2 threats a turn, he'll lose. So it's very interesting.
It's definitely just a battle of who can clear whose board. And
Right.
Cell has that ability to just, click, pop, 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 whereas Goku actually has to do the effort and go out of its way to start popping the other cards that are on the field. We're seeing the objection play now.
Yeah, here's objection. Actually, Marcel, one of the few Soul Strikers that still run objection in the deck, actually love that decision. We talked a lot about it in the other matchups, but essentially, Lost Soul Striker Gokus have cut objection in order to make their matchup in the mirror a little bit better. So what they're trying to do is be a little more grindy in the mirror instead of relying on objection to get the results first, which I like that decision. However, it hurts you against the Android and Cell matchups because against those matchups, it's hard to discard your hand efficiently. The objection allows you to get your hand low efficiently by speeding up your energy. So it's pretty cool.
Instead of just comboing the world early.
Yeah, instead of just being like, you hit me once, I'm going to dump my hand. And there are people are like, okay, well, I'm just not going to sell combo you now because you have a card in your hand. Here's your boy. 3-drop
My
Gotenks
boy.
coming in.
My boy. Funny story. Eddie actually had me sign his cards that he had a little scotchy presence on the board.
We saw that. We saw that signed on the, I think it was the second game on the stream. Here's 15,000 coming into 10,000. Making Marcel choose a discarded card here. Marcel going to take his time, figure out what he wants to do. Interesting card in Cell here. The 3-drop Gotenks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as good as critical. It really is, because you're necking a card from their hand in order to take a card from their life. So really, they're not getting any kind of benefit. It's pretty similar to how critical works. Instead of the card going directly to the drop, you're still losing a card, but you're gaining a card back.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, it's definitely one of those cards that, I talk a lot about. I know Danny Hype on the team loves this card. It's like one of his favorite cards. I think it's unplayable currently. And then we have Jordan in the middle. It's like, I like it sometimes. I dislike it sometimes. So I'm like, I don't know. I just think 3-drops right now are just not good enough. I feel like if you're just wasting your time playing 3-drops.
Early game, it's definitely a solid play. And late game, if you can string multiple Gotenks together, it's really going to hurt.
It is. No, you're right. I mean, honestly, literally in late game, this deck is, it's Super Saiyan Gotenks is absurd. Or just, sorry, is it full power Gotenks? Is that what's called?
Energy power.
Energy power, yeah, is actually just absurd. It's really, really good. It's actually probably better in critical in late game, which is pretty cool. I like the card a lot. Also, the card's been pretty devastating with the new 7-drop, Android 13. I've been testing that a little bit on stream. It's been hilarious where, you attack your opponent, they have to discard a card. If that card is a battle card, they have to discard another card out of their hand. And so it's pretty funny. Like, it can be a very powerful threat for sure.
Absolutely. However, it's always going to be a target. It's always going to be like you don't want multiple Gotenks, so it's going to die relatively quick, especially against Cell, which, free pops.
Yep.
Free pops.
I'm just going to put a card under him and kill him. Easy. Easy peasy. We also see a lot of 3-drop hate coming out in set 3 as well. Marcel putting Gohan in here. I always hate putting Gohan. It's like Gohan's like the one card I will never put in energy.
Here comes roll. Gonna go ahead and awaken at 5. So it's that's the optimal play.
Is he not at 4 life?
It looks like 5 to me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He's
He's
at 4 life and he's using results.
I mean, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think there's a second card up at the very top.
Huh.
Hey, he's at 4. Why use results? Interesting.
Very interesting. Because you think about it, like, well, I'm trying to think what the benefit would be here.
There isn't one. He starts an energy down now.
What did he not?
He
have,
wanted the.
Did he not have 3 cards in drop?
I guess
he might not have 3 cards in drop.
Might have to waste it. I mean, that's solid.
Well, it's not really a waste because you untap the energy when you attack. You know what I mean? So
you still start 1 energy down though, so it's gonna shut down the Gotenks play, which is kind of rough considering how the deck relies on that play. He was feeding the grave. It's interesting. It's a very interesting play.
It is interesting. Huh. Kind of like it though. I feel like there's something I'm missing. I feel like it's like the best play I've seen ever in my life. I just like my brain hasn't understood what's happened yet. Okay, we'll see what Leeroy decides to do here. Big Kale coming in. I love Kale, man. 20,000 draws a card, critical. Like I said, I'm pretty sure if you flip the card on its back and read it, there's probably more text back there. We just don't even know.
I mean, especially the new combo with the new Cobb and the new Khalifa.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They're gonna be awesome. Man. They're gonna be awesome for sure.
It's free. It's free.
He played results on 4 life, guys. What's happening? Pretty sure he had 3 in drop area. Yeah, maybe he did.
That would be the only reason.
I mean, that would make sense if he did it. I don't know, guys. Maybe there's no way he thought he was at 5 life. I know Marcel. There ain't no way Marcel thought he was. Oh, I was at 5 life. Oh, never mind. I guess I'm before. There's just no way. There was something.
The only thing I can plausibly think is that he used it to bait the grave. But again, if he had the Kale play, why not just beat the grave with KO? I understand searching the top card,
Sure.
to get it, and I understand, not wanting to draw that or wanting to know what the card you're getting off the top is from the Goku, but
Oh, yeah. I bet you guys are right. It was so he gets to draw off a kill.
fair,
Yeah,
fair.
that makes sense. See, I knew there had to be something. I just didn't. We couldn't count the cards in his hand. I bet you guys that was 100% it. He was doing it to get card out of his hand so he can draw off a kill. Perfect. I like that. 'Cause I've done that sometimes. I've been on like turn 8 or 9 and I've objectioned just so I can draw off a kill. So like I completely understand that. So yeah, fantastic. I knew it had to be something. I was like, Marcel isn't gonna just objection. Like it, smart. I mean, it recycles the card for 1 energy. I like it. You're welcome. Yep, you figured it out. I wasn't.
Definitely a play that was more advanced than either of us right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, it's gonna blow me away every time. Spider-Verse saying I thought Marcel was all about Vegeta, or was it because all the new rule with his effects? And actually, I talked to Marcel a little bit when I first got here, and he said that he told me he was playing Son Goku, and then Eddie came over and was kind of trolling him about it, and he told Eddie that it had nothing to do with the new rule change. He just wanted to play Goku.
I had a 4-hour card ride with them.
Did you?
I had a well, it was actually 5 hours, yeah, because Eddie or Marcel actually drove down to me from Jacksonville, and then me and him drove down here.
Oh, cool.
So we were talking about it a lot, and I went in depth into the ruling about Vegeta, and in the end, he's like, "I guess I'm just gonna play Goku." I was like, "Hey, man, your call."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think the change of Vegeta is that bad. I think obviously Eddie's finding success with it, but I don't know. Marcel, a good player though. Doesn't matter what Marcel plays. I'm pretty sure he can play whatever he wants efficiently and well. Sure as heck can play results better than I can. So
No kidding. Like I'm the same way. I'm like, I guess if I had 6 cards in hand, I could waste the results. But then I'm more worried about the fact that it puts you down by 1 energy. Because if you have the Gotenks play in hand, which he clearly had, it's like that is a play you could have done the turn before, but now have to wait an extra turn.
that's tough. I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth it. I like drawing card, but me, I'll dump my whole hand just to draw 1 card off Kel. So I'm stupid, but I mean, I love drawing off Kel. I like just like drawing cards in general. If no matter what I have to do, I mean, I could dump my whole hand, jump up and down, spin around twice. If that causes me to draw a card, I'll do it. It's like one of my favorite things.
Superstition.
Superstition, right?
Superstition.
I did it. Spell player here. Super Saiyan Gotenks. This is an interesting cell deck, Scotch, as it turns out. I don't think I've ever seen a cell deck here that runs like Super Saiyan Gotenks and Kabas and all this stuff. I've never really seen it. I'm serious.
It looks like a Cell Tanks deck.
It's cell here we go. I've never seen it. It's cool. I mean, it's really neat, for sure. But does he not run the cell combo?
I guess he's just running the cell leader for the
removal,
the plus, the removal and the plus.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. I definitely like that tricolor cell. Is it tri? I guess there's a blue energy in there.
Yep, it is try.
Yeah, I guess we've seen Anthony Hernandez have some success with cell tricolor cell.
True. We also know that he's running Ghost Tanks, so he's running Ghost Tanks as well.
Oh, Ghost Tanks.
Here's the deck list.
I know they're right here. I'm just so used to not having a deck list that every time I have one, it blows me. I don't know what to do. It's like. Also, it's so weird to me. Every time I look at someone's deck list too, I feel like I know less about their deck somehow.
No, it looks like the entire cell chain is in his sideboard.
Yeah, he puts it in the sideboard. Makes sense. So the first game he plays it out, makes you think you don't have to play around the cell chain. Game 2, he busts out cell chain.
Interesting.
Pulls the old wool over your eyes, as it turns out.
Absolutely, that's a full engine change.
Yeah,
because it looks like he's actually just running just all the good cards. It's like all the good cards he can find, basically, is what this main board is, and then he sides into the cell, which is a great throw-off.
I like it. I tell a lot of people, a lot of the times, it's really hard to not convince me to play Mighty Mask in a deck that I'm running in Green Leader. The fact you can search out your trunks is extremely underrated right now. I mean, having those zero-cost combo cards, I mean, even just having one more super combo than your opponent can sometimes make the game, let alone if you can search out 2 or 3 more than your opponent. It just seems almost too good to be true.
Sounds like a trap. Sounds like a trap. Admiral Akbar would be screaming right now.
It's a trap. It's terrible. Admiral Akbar's. it's trap.
It's a trap.
Yours is better. Mine sounds like he's really old. it didn't get sucked out into space and ignored. And
Spoilers.
what are you talking about? Marcel choosing to charge the results this time instead of blowing me and Scotch's mind with it. Which thank you, Marcel, for doing that.
Getting a lot of doubles in there though. Double result, double objection, chilling his energy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Rip Admiral. Marcel attacking with this 15,000 crit Gohan into 15,000 cell.
No combo into a Senzu Bean.
Senzu Bean. Here it comes. This card, man, just every time I put in Senzu Beans, I'm just like, man, I thought I knew I was going to do this turn. Now it's all different.
Senzu Bean definitely better on defense than offense.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
100%.
it is. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's still a good card in offense in certain situations, but defense, it just can be absolutely just devastating. Also, I feel like Marcel needs to find a way to deal with this Jiren as well. Jiren's devastating against Soul Striker Goku. They keep a pretty low hand anyway.
Oh, there's your answer.
And it's the best answer in the world. That's my boy Beerus, guys. Spam those destroys in the chat, boys.
I convinced him to run that because he didn't have enough pop, and he wanted to cut Kale and Gohan down, and I was like, well, then throw in Beerus's instead, because if you're hurting the amount of board removal you have, you need to add more. So he ended up adding the Beerus's.
You wanted to cut Gohan and Kale?
Oh, he cut him down. He cut Gohan down and Kale down.
What?
Yeah, he's only running 3 Kale, and he's running 3 Kale, 3 Gohan.
I see the destroys, but they're just the little gray, they're little gray boxes. No, they've been destroyed.
It looks like Twitch Hakkai'd your Hakkai emotes.
That's what I get for my Hakkai emote just being a naked picture of me on there. I guess they found out finally.
Whoa, hey now. Oh my.
There they are.
There it is.
There they are. Yay. All right. Marcel passing the turn here. Still 4-4, guys. Again, extremely grindy matchup. I know at the beginning of this we said it was a grindy matchup, but let me explain. This is a grindy matchup. And what happens here is, again, Marcel's going to play 2 threats a turn. Leeroy is going to have to find a way to clear 2 threats a turn. That's going to happen back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until one of them fails to do one of those objectives. And that person will start pinging the life on the other person, and they'll become the aggressor. The other person will have to find a way to come back from that defensively, which is very difficult. Extremely difficult. In fact, very similar to the Soul Striker mirror as well.
You know, it's almost like Marcel knows that we're both in here because he's got Gotenks and Beerus on the field.
That's true. From this point of view, it looks like the Beerus might be spanking the Gotenks.
Hey,
I can't
none of
tell.
that. None of that. Still makes me sad.
It's my favorite one out of all of them. Another Jiren. Here we go. And this is what I'm saying. This is important. It's going to be able to kill 2 threats with this, which is extremely, extremely important. So this is going to be 20,000 in the Gotenks here. Leeroy could take another life with Tien as well. But has Leeroy put a card under Cell this turn? I don't think so, right? So he has the ability to kill another one, right?
Which would probably be... Well, I mean, if he decides to use the Jiren on board clear, he can kill both the Gotenks and the Gohan.
Yeah, I mean, he can Jiren into the Gotenks, attack Cell into the Gohan, and then clear the other Gohan, the big Gohan. Which is absurd that he can kill, what, freaking 4 threats this turn? Like, Ace Health this turn, okay. Just insane.
Noticing not a lot of early game plays came out of Marcel either. Like, he's just, you know, normally you see Goku's, it's a million Gokus and a million Boos, but none of that this game.
I play Boo, I play Goku, I attack you, play Bulma, Goku, attack you. Just like, ugh, you have so many 1-drops. I like that Marcel is relying on those, because what's weird about those 1-drops is like they're very, very good if you don't have results. But if you start the game with results, they become a lot less good. That's a word. A lot less good. I don't know.
A lot less good.
A lot less good.
Cell forgot to draw?
No, Cell drew. Remember, he doesn't draw when he attacks, guys.
Yeah,
he drew. He draws off the ability, doesn't draw off the attack. Remember that, guys. Got a game lost once because of that.
Did you now?
I did. I did.
It happens. It happens. Both the Gotenks and the Gohan surviving. Interesting.
Yeah, this is pretty scary for Leeroy. Not only did, like you said, 2 threats survive, his 2 pretty punishing threats, Gotenks and Gohan, and he plays another Gohan down. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Now Leeroy is officially in the defensive position. This is a terrible spot to be in these grindy deck matchups because what happens is you have to play your threats and pressure their threats. And if their threats survive, they just keep pressuring you. So like Marcel doesn't have to remove anything anymore. He can just attack with all of his guys if he wants, which I think actually he probably should attack with Gohan. But you essentially you just go all out, attack every turn. You put a lot of pressure on your opponent. Your opponent has to continue to attack, continue to try to claw back into the game, and all you have to do is just attack every turn. So you make them have to answer your threats, which is a lot better spot to be in than being the person who has to answer the threats.
Especially since Goku can just throw them out. Just
Yeah.
multiple threats on the board every
I
single
have
turn.
2, I have 4. A threat for you, a threat for you. Soul Striker Goku, the Oprah of threats. Okay, here we go. 15,000. Looks like he chose, again, I chose one of the threats. Let's see what Marcel decides to do here. Oh, actually, no, he's actually going to Marcel here. That's a bold play. Marcel going to snap take that, get an extra card in his hand. I like it. Good play by Marcel. Here comes out Marcel. And these overwhelm cards, Scotch, pretty good cards.
They're so... Like, I have a love-hate relationship with them. I really do. And it's mainly because of Cell Tanks and the entire Gotenks engine and having to adjust around it. But, you know, I feel like Bardock is an extremely difficult card to play around.
Right. So what you're saying is you like playing them, but you hate playing around them.
Sure.
Yeah. I know
Sure.
what you mean.
Sure. I don't like playing them, but, you know.
You don't like playing them either?
Nah. I feel like it's... I don't play Massaiyan.
Okay.
There were times where, yeah, I wished I had it, but, you know, decks like Goku that already have just a ton of destruction, it's not necessary. Time Patrol, to me, feels a little too slow sometimes. It's just an extra battle card on the board that more often than not, you're not even going to attack with. You're going to use it to combo just to feed your grave.
Sure.
So it's you know, do the pros outweigh the cons is the real question.
Yeah, one of the big things I just like about overwhelm cards, I like them a lot. I think they're really good. I like Massan, I like Trunks, I like a lot of new set 3 ones. The only thing I dislike about them is it makes some of the other cards that we kind of like kind of bad now, like psyched up Gotenks, for example. Like that card just seems almost unplayable now because the overwhelm cards are so much better than him. Also, a lot of other cards too, like my boy Vegito here to save the day. You know what I mean? The cards again hard to play because of overwhelm. Even just the Vegito leader itself is kind of hard to play, and so I think that it kind of hurts some decks, or at least makes them harder to play, which is unfortunate.
Like Psycho Tanks was so good.
I know
He was so good, and then they're just like, bleh.
Yeah, it's like, but is he as good as Massayan? I don't know. So it's tough. It's a tough choice. Gotch. Maybe if there was better Gotens. And
Why you gotta think of my children like that? That's
obviously,
not
like
very
Trunks is good,
nice.
right? Trunks has like a super combo, and Trunks has a blue combo card that readies an energy. Like that's you can figure out a way to use that, right? But like Goten is just like Goten Family of Justice. That's it.
Well, I mean,
It's like
3-drop Goten searches the Trunks, 2-drop Goten pops card. So it's a thing, but Goten is more just support than he is anything else. Whereas Trunks will benefit you a little bit better.
Marcel, by the way, playing 2 Super Saiyan Gotenks out this turn, like taking Leeroy to 2 life. Unbelievable. Leeroy response is, I'm going to attack with Marcel. See if I can get you to 2. Please go to 2 life. Please don't play a Gohan like you just did. Yeah, there we go. Just like that, all of a sudden, Marcel is right back into it again. I feel like the only way Cell can win this matchup is to get a Jiren to stick.
And he's just not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Because if there's literally anything with destruction in his hand, then, you know. Literally any destruction is going to kill that Jiren. Like, it's
also,
a 4-drop.
Also, something else is funny that I was going to talk about that I get a chance to, and I'm glad this is happening right now. Leeroy at 3 cards in deck. So often, what happens in these grinding matchups, similar to Hearthstone, uh, when you have grinding matchups, it's like the first person to deck out. Hearthstone will start taking fatigue damage, they die, whatever. In this game, if you draw your last card, you lose. And so Cell is actually drawing more cards a turn than Marcel is. The difference, though, is that Leeroy can actually choose not to draw each turn, where Marcel actually has to draw each turn if he attacks with his leader. So that's the interesting mechanic comes in. So it's something to remember, something to think of. Again, Leeroy had 3 cards in hand. I have no idea how many trunks he used this turn, but he can only use 2 more trunks. So very interesting.
Ghost Tanks coming out too. That's fun.
That's absurd, right?
I love Ghost Tanks.
Ghost Tanks is, I feel like, underplayed.
Well, the limit that he has on your hand is the issue, and for decks that just excel in having a large hand size, he's just almost unplayable. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get 3 bodies on the board, but the 3 bodies are just gonna be single strike. You need to go down to 4 in order for them to get double strike. So
Right.
they aren't much of a threat on their own until you just start comboing into each one, and eventually everything gets double strike.
It's definitely tough.
But Leeroy actually getting a bigger board than Marcel now.
Yeah, I mean, it's what stinks is 3 of those cards are tokens, and it's almost guaranteed that Marcel has a Kell in hand.
Which is effectively a 1-card board wipe.
Yeah. Let's see what Marcel decides to do. He's gonna take it. The slowest possible. No. Eurus. Okay. Marcel knows that he doesn't have to actually. If he survives till next turn, he's actually probably just fine, right?
Yeah, he's expended. Leeroy's expended too many resources now. It looks like he has 3 cards in hand. Marcel has 2 cards in hand. Leeroy at 2 life. Marcel at 3 life. So it's like he could take some of these hits. Like this one double strike, he could just eat it. Except we see Leeroy actually trying to board clear him, and that's going to cause a problem pretty
Again,
quick.
like we talked about, Leeroy is the defensive player now because of the way that Marcel has got ahead in the game. So now he has to use his resources to kill threats that Marcel gets to replace for and just attack with them. It's it's how Super Saiyan wins, or Soul Striker Goku wins most of his games. It's just that simple concept of turn his opponent to the defensive player and then playing out these threats that you have to kill each turn. And he doesn't have to kill your threats because his cards do that. Like he just plays stuff out and they kill him, and then he just attacks you. Oh my goodness!
Scooped.
Leeroy's like, wheel.
Wheel, we're going to game 2.
Turns out that's a pretty tough card to beat. You have 2 cards in hand.
Yeah. I
like it.
I don't know how you do it with 2 cards in hand. You just don't. If you have a negate, that's what you hope for. But again, at 2 life, yeah, it was probably a solid play to just pick it up there to save time. Because at this point, this match is already going to be a longer match. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, Leeroy can probably only get a draw. It's very unlikely these players can finish 3 games. So Marcel winning the first game is huge for him. So all he has to do is just really try to win this second game. I have 2 questions. I'm not used to these 1K events as I haven't seen any in my country. So is the 1K given out in prize money to first place, or is it divided amongst the top prizes or places? I'll go to my corner now. Well, first of all, buddy, don't go to your corner. What are you talking about? Please come on out.
We love you.
Please come back and talk to us.
Hug us.
Yes. But I'm pretty confident that it's spread out, right?
Split, yeah.
Yeah, split out. So it's not like the first place doesn't get 1K.
First place is generally half of the prize pool, and then the rest is divvied up between the rest of the top 8.
Sure. Like
I
it.
wish if first place got 1K. Jeez.
Woo.
Jeez. But for that, they need to have a 2K.
Right, that's true. That's true.
So generally, that's the play. The play is, half the prize pool goes to first place, and then it's split in varying degrees down to 8th place.
Yeah, I like that too because that makes it so it's like worth to come out and play, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, this is 7 rounds plus the top 16. You don't want people to walk away with nothing. You know what I mean? So, of course, they won't be walking away with nothing. They'll actually be walking away with amazing play mats, promo packs, booster packs,
invites. Top 16 gets invites because
we
broke that cap.
Yeah, as it turns out. So yeah, a lot of really good stuff. That's one thing I like a lot about Dragon Ball Super so far. I feel feel like everybody gets something. It's always worth to go to these events, whether it's for promo packs or sleeves or what have you. Love it. Is this event 2 days? It's not.
Oh, if it was 2 days, oh boy. But no, it's 7 rounds and then cut to top 16, and we're doing it till midnight. Midnight. You think we'll be done before midnight?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Yeah, my boy back there nodding yes. By the way, guys, can we get another shout out, please? Get hearts. I also want as many hearts in chat that you guys can possibly put in chat for Lester, my boy.
Hearts, spirit bombs. If you're sub to me, lend some energy to our boy Lester because he is the pro tech.
Yeah,
The pro tech.
amazing. Probably the fastest life changer in the West. So just spam him, dude. Spam everything you can for him. Whatever you guys do, some hearts. I see some hearts, some
Super Saiyan Scouchies.
Super Saiyans, some whatever the heck that thing is, and then
What
also,
you do, Bruda? You do not know the
I know
way.
that one. I'll talk about the one below, the one between the
But
hearts.
clearly, you do not know the way.
I know what that is. I'm talking about between the Super Saiyans and the
I
hearts.
can't see it. What does it say?
I don't know. It
Super
like,
Saiyan Red. Oh, it's a Super Saiyan Red emote. It's Super Saiyan Rose. I'm sorry. It's the Rose. Super Saiyan Rose emote. That Something Sick uses those. Those are his emotes.
oh, okay. Who?
Something Sick. He's part of my community.
Okay, cool.
He's also got a Super Saiyan Blue one.
Oh, cool. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the sideboards. As it turns out, we'll start with probably the most interesting one, which I can't read his name on here, so I had to look up on the overlay. Leeroy. You said he's cell chain. He sideboards into the cell chain. Do you think this will take Marcel off guard? Do you think he'll expect it?
Leeroy wouldn't have made it to top tables without it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like if he didn't have something extremely like I'm not docking on his playstyle. I'm not
Sure.
docking on him as a player, but you have to have something extra, especially with a deck like this. You can't be going or doing as well in the day with the deck being as consistent with it unless you had something like that. In the cell chain, that switch is definitely going to throw somebody off and win you game 2.
Right.
I know it would definitely throw me off, and I would have to double check and be like, What?
What just happened to me?
Exactly. Like, you went through almost all your deck. You had 2 cards left in your deck. Where was this cell?
You have to be careful, right? Though, if you sideboard into it, right, you can't play any pieces in energy.
Yeah, you
right?
can't.
'Cause
You can't let it go.
Right. You can't let your opponent know until you drop that 3-drop.
Because his numbers are already really slow. He's running 2 Perfect Force, 3 Evolving Evil, 2 Twin Sister, 2 Twin Brother, 2 Terrible, and 3 Growing Evil. So it's like his numbers are already so low that it's going to be extremely difficult for him to get rid of any of them.
Right. To get it actually, yeah, absolutely. No, I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So let's take a look at Marcel's down here. Is there anything in this list that we see that he might have been sideboarding in? The whole
Bulma engine. Yeah, the Bulma package.
I'm still not a fan of the Bulma package.
See, I like it though. I like it a
Give
lot.
to me. One more, so he runs the 4th Objection. I like that. 4th Raging Spirit, Son Gohan. I like that as well.
4 Jackos. That was my tech. I forced him to do that.
You forced him to?
I was like, you need Jacko. Whether or not he puts it in is a whole other
I
story.
like the Kel and the tournament. So I'd say he definitely sideboard in the 4th Kel, the 4th Gohan. Probably the 4th Objection, honestly. We'll see.
See, I'm very used to siding out Gohans. Like, I play Gohan so seldomly that it's
The 4-cost Gohan?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When I was playing 3 in Indy, I sided out the 3rd one all the time. Same thing with Frieza. I was siding out 1 to 2 of my 3 Friezas. It was just too inconsistent. I didn't want to tap myself out for it. The gain wasn't there. At best, what was my play? Bounce Light of Hope back to hand. Bounce, Time Patrol Trunks back to hand. Where is the actual gain from doing that? And in my opinion, it wasn't worth tapping 5 of my energy out. Whereas with Gotenks being the 5-drop, it's only a 2-drop technically. Like,
Right.
if you use your Goku leader, it becomes a 2-drop. Or a 1-drop, I mean. So it's a,
Right.
It's a good card. It's a good card.
You're gonna be good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I like it. I like sideboarding in the objection and. But of course, I mean, I say sideboarding the objection because I know that Leeroy sideboarded into cell combo, so I love objection against cell combo. But
Maybe he
Marcel
did.
doesn't know that
Because he could have shadow sided and faked it.
That's true. That's true.
We could tell you real quick as he goes through his deck.
I don't see it. I don't see anything.
He didn't show us enough. The mystery continues, Dusty.
Sure continues. Will we see it? Will we be as surprised as Marcel when it happens? Who knows? Find out next time.
On Dragon Ball Z. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Marcel decides to do here.
Soul Charge and a Kaba. I'm sorry, it's not called Soul Charging in this game.
What in the heck's a soul charge?
It's basically that mechanic. It's the name of putting something under something else like that
Oh,
for a
okay.
skill. Soul Charge. Small novel in Leeroy's hand currently.
Leeroy has the cards down to 4 life already with the TN.
God, that TM play is so insane early game.
TN play is really, really good, but I think the problem I have with TN play this early is that you're just opening yourself up. Now Leeroy is automatically on the defensive. That's very scary against Soul Striker. You don't want to do that. Now, Leeroy has to protect his life, and Marcel doesn't have to protect his, and that puts him a little bit behind here. Okay.
Like we said, this cell is unlike any cell I've seen. It's literally just tricolor cell without cell. Like
Yeah.
he's only just utilizing the leader, and since he's using the Mighty Mask engine to search his protector of children's his super combos, it's just solid. So
Yep.
being able to search out your colors, but not actually using some of your colors. Like we knew that he's running Sensimine, so that's why he's only using 1 blue, 2 red because of the Jiren. But without the cell, we didn't see any Kales.
Nope.
So he doesn't really need more
Don't
green.
see any Kels. Don't see any Gohans from the cell play either, which, in my opinion, are the 2 best green cards. I can't understand these people not running.
Like the 1 green for the Go tanks, I guess.
King's powerful.
Swinging for the discard.
Yeah, Marcel's just going to discard, though, and draw a card and get a card from his life. Loses nothing. I'd be sure Leeroy wants to awaken him at this point. Time patrol.
Yup. Check top 2, put 1 in hand, put 1 on the bottom. Unless it's something that you absolutely need. Opt in, put it on the bottom.
He actually put another time patrol trunks in his hand. That's interesting.
I wish we could have seen what the second card was that was so bad that it needed to be on the bottom.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. Putting a card on the bottom in this game is scary to me. You put a card on the bottom, that's in Soul Strike Goku, that's like saying I won't see you again. There's no shuffle effects. So it's literally, we'll put you in the bottom, that's where you're gonna stay. Banish you.
Yeah, the only real way to shuffle in this deck is if you're running the Bulma package.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm gonna put you in the bottom. You're never coming back. And that's what you do with results. When you have 1 in hand and you see 2 more, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm gonna put both of them on the bottom.
Or you draw it and cast it when you're at 4 life and just
To do things.
right to scare to blow my mind. All right, Lou taking some time here. Counting his energy, counting his life, counting his hand.
Got a sense being in hand. Opting to charge the second green.
Yeah, interesting. I don't think does he have a second green play in hand? Because it seems like that Gotenks would be really good.
It looked like he had the 5 drop, but
puts the Jiren in hand.
Putting the Gotenks on the bottom though.
Interesting. Both seem very playable. Ugh, draws a freaking
Ghost
TN.
tanks.
I'll tell you, maybe it's just me, but I'd rather draw results than a TN.
Absolutely.
I don't know why. I just draw that every time I draw that guy. I'm just like, I don't like you.
I despise that card.
I did too. I'm just like,
I can't stand TN. To me, it feels too heavy.
Yeah.
Combo or paying 2 for a 10k or a combo that once you use it once, you're probably not going to use it again.
Right.
It just seems counterproductive to me, but I understand when decks like Cell need to do it to awaken themselves turn 2.
Yeah, turn 2. The good thing about Cell, he has a way to get rid of it. Also, remember, guys, another really cool thing about Cell is Cell's a great overwhelm leader as well. Something that I think people kind of ignored with Cell. But he has the ability to essentially load himself up with a bunch of cards underneath of him, and then use them after he's overwhelmed to fill his drop area back up, which is pretty cool.
Just feeding the drop, and that's why it was an interesting play for the Psycho Tanks.
Right.
Because you put the Goten and Trunks under them, and then just send them when you're ready. Results going in there. They're already awakened. Doesn't need results. So it's just like, man, get out of my hand.
Here's Trunks. Good top 2. That was fast.
Snap third results.
That was whatever that was. He decided to he banished that to the Shadow Realm. He put that underneath there so fast.
Didn't give it a second look. Was like, yep,
Nope.
get out of my
I don't
life.
know what that is, but get out of here.
Phew.
So Marcel decides to do here. Marcel's up to 2, 3, 4, 5 energy. He needs 1 more energy to start putting multiple threats out on the board consistently.
Double Protector of Children in hand for Leeroy, though.
I thought you had to reveal the card. No, you don't. It's simply put one in your hand and or up to 1 in your hand and bottom or top. Because you're not looking for a specific card, you don't have to reveal it.
We did have a couple of instances today, judge calls, because people were trying to Bloodlust Overwhelm.
Okay.
So you gotta remember order of ops: reveal the card, pay the cost, play the card. So people were having issues with that because they wanted to Bloodlust the card the second that they declared that they were using it, and just because technically it falls under the new rule,
Right?
Because it is a skill summoning a card. So you can Bloodlust that card, but then people were starting to mess things up, and then just playing the card without revealing what it was, and debating on whether or not he wanted to Bloodlust it. So that's another thing to note. So I did make an announcement about that earlier to remember your order of operations: reveal, pay cost, play.
Yeah, it can be really important to get that stuff down, guys. You want to learn how to bring your game up to the next level. One of the best ways to do that, one of the fastest ways to do that, is learn the rules. I mean, I know that might sound like a dick thing to say, but I mean, I'm just saying that you learn these little subtleties and stuff, and you start seeing these little play possibilities that you might not see normally. So that's one of the things I always like to tell people: just learn the rules as best you can, learn all the subtleties. Unless you're trolling me already. That's used to be my friend. Since you've been from Marcel. It's like the 3 things you can do other than playing to make yourself a better player. It's like learn the rules. Number 2 is read read the cards. Like read as many of the cards as you can play. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's a very big one.
Yeah, because like a lot of times, like it's always good. And you could read your cards, take a look at it, know what all your cards do, and that way when you're building decks or when you're thinking of like a sideboard card or something, you can say, oh crap, like in the sideboard this card would be good. And then people are like, what does that card do? Because you've read all the cards. And the third thing you can do to make you a better player without actually playing the game is watching people play the game.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you see people play the game and you see stuff they do, like that results play that we saw, and you're like, you know what? That actually make me look differently when I have multiple results in my hand now.
Makes sense. It makes sense. But at the same time, it's the question gets posed: how big of a waste was it? Was it worth getting 1 extra card?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree 100% that it can be difficult decision sometimes. All right, so Scott's going to go take a judge call real quick, and then I'll be here until he gets back. Out of the way here for him. So overall, was like Cell correct. They have to reveal. We'll let Scotch answer that question when he gets back. That's a good. I mean, Scotch is the person to ask, and he just left to go ask judge call. And when he gets back, I will have him answer. All right, guys. Marcel's in here again, and that offensive lead. Again, we talked about it before. He's in the spot here where he is the aggressor for life to his opponent's for life. Plays out Gohan, kills that threat, and now he's going to be aggressive. See what Leeroy decides to do here. If he takes it, goes to 3, or he dumps the card out of his hand to stop it. He does have Sensu Bean in hand. Sensu probably not being a card he actually wants to spend this turn, though. Sensu Bean's like one of those cards that you don't really want to use as you don't want to use on the last attack of the turn. You want to use on the first attack of the turn. That way it gains its benefit throughout the turn, throughout the entire turn instead of just at the very end. So he is going to take it. I like that play. He does take it, and Marcel passes turn. Marcel at 4 life, and Leeroy at 3. All right, Leeroy attacking 15,000 into Goku's 15,000 here. We'll see what happens. All right, Marcel just going to pitch out Ghostinks here. Leeroy playing out big Ghostinks here in 15,000 tokens. I can't quite see Leeroy's hand, but it looks like he doesn't. They don't have double strike, yeah. But that doesn't mean that Leeroy won't stop. Oh, there's the Sensu Bean. Such a good counter to these Ghostinks tokens. But Leeroy going to wisely start pressuring threats now. Okay, comes Ghostinks. He's going to take it. Go to 3. 3 to 3. Passing the turn. Marcel with the ability, I think he does have another Kel in hand. Has the ability to just wipe this threat completely off the field. Whether he will or not, though. I want to ask this question again since Scotch just sat down. Ask this question to Scotch. So at Pro Play Games Live disappeared. So Overwhelm is like Cell, correct? Question mark. They have to reveal, then activate Overwhelm. Then you can bloodlust.
Well, technically, you're supposed to reveal before you play the card anyway. Any card in this game. You reveal, pay cost, play. That's the basic order of operations in the comprehensive rule document. But because technically the ruling isn't necessarily just for Cell, it's anytime there is a card that brings out another card, even itself, by a skill. I.e., if Bobbity does it, it's the same thing as with the Bloodlust versus Cell ruling, where you have the open opportunity before the card hits the board, and you have the opportunity when the card hits the board.
Okay.
So that's why we're having to have people go through and actually go through the correct order of operations to play cards, because people do, just get rid of your graveyard or your drop area, banish it to the warp, and then sit there and be like, play this. Well, now there's a timing window where you can actually bloodlust before that card comes out.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's a from someone who's played Magic. I've seen it happen a lot. Where you'll have a counter spell in hand. Your opponent will play something out, and you'll be like, "Oh, hey, I want to counter that." And they're like, "Well, I already played it." And it's like, "Well, sure, but like I still get a chance to counter it." I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, "No, I already played it." And it's like, "What?" So like, I feel like it's similar to this situation where you have to slow down, guys. Your opponent always has a chance to cobalt lust when you play something. I've heard a lot of people say that. Like, what happens? What happens if I've already played it? Can they still bloodlust it? It's like, yes, because like you can't. It's not like this is a game of dexterity. You know what I mean? Where you just throw your. It's not like a game of spoons. Where you just you're just throwing your cards out as fast as you can. Your opponent has to cobalt us before you play something else. It's like no, there's like you said, order operations. You have to play to those.
It's just like when you play a Majin Buu and immediately go to drop, they're like, I have the bloodlust.
Yeah, I was gonna bloodlust that.
It's like, well, too bad. Not really, fam. Not really. You gotta actually go through it. You gotta give them a second to respond. Especially since Bloodlust and Crush Ball are pretty much the only real responses to anything in this game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's like one of the big things. Like whenever I attack, even my opponent's tapped out, and it makes some people mad. But I'll attack and I'll wait for my opponent to say no negate. Like I'm tapped out, and it's like I don't care. Like it's just I'm learning. Like I want to train my body to do this every single time because one day they'll print a 0 cost negate, and I don't want to get into that mentality of, oh I attacked and then I didn't give you a chance to negate and I get yelled at.
Yep. It's just it causes issues if you move too fast. You gotta slow down, Take it easy. Take
I'm
a
an
deep
old man
breath.
anyway, so getting me to slow down isn't hard.
Getting to speed up is the problem.
Yeah. So I'll slow down a little bit.
Look at the clock. It's 40 minutes into the round, and it's still game one. You're like, oh.
Did you
I
say
should
no
probably
to gates, youngin?
How about combos?
Are we in the combo space? What time is Jeopardy come on?
Oh, jeez.
Break cost down. Such a grindy matchup, Scotch, as it turns out. Holy moly.
I told you it was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be. Goku is the best grind deck in this game right now.
He has 3 Super Saiyan Gotenks on the field. Holy moly.
And realistically, Leeroy doesn't have many answers to hitting all 3 of them.
No?
Aside from, popping one of them with his cell effect and then turning around and dropping a Jiren to try and swing into the other 2. That's pretty much all he's got.
Yeah, Jiren's a good, obviously a good card to do it. Jiren's just been insane. I'll tell you another card coming out sub 3. Topo has been great. My testing has been extremely fantastic.
I have a love-hate relationship with that card.
I have a love relationship with that card. I want to take that card out to dinner and wine and dine it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to a nice movie. Meet its parents.
Till it Hakai's you.
Till he freaks out and tells me no justice anymore. I'm not talking about. He blows me up.
Ghost Tank's coming out.
Yep, some more tokens. This time they have double strike. Right? Is there 4 cards? No, there's 5 cards in this hand. They don't have double strike.
Easy to get rid of. Just bring out Mass Saiyan. Boom, done.
Mass Saiyan got you.
Using a boost attack to bring himself up.
Every time I see Piccolo play, I remember those days where we thought it lasted the entire turn.
I remember that too.
Those were the days.
All 10 minutes until we realized we were wrong.
Yeah.
Just like when we thought you could Jocko a Senzu Bean. Or was that just me?
That was Jocko Sensu Bane.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the beginning. Like the first week or so the game was out. Peter Katani's playing Goku.
Goku Black?
No, just Goku.
Here he is. Big Daddy. Mass Saiyan. We've seen this guy in more games today.
I completely forgot that was an option to get rid of one of the Gotenks.
There's the negates. Marcel might be actually surviving this. I thought he was dead in the water here, but no.
Pass and turn.
Marcel's looking at me like, Dusty, excuse me?
Never count me out, fam.
Yeah, you thought I was out?
Oh my god, three results chilling in that energy area of Marcel. Oh my. So many extra cards.
So many extra cards. This have 3 results. Objection. 2 objection. No, 1 objection. Oh, here it comes.
Well,
It comes.
there they go.
Yeah, so how does this work, Scotch, if you don't mind me asking? Since the chat seems to be asking. If I attack with the token and I combo my hand out, does the token now have double strike?
Yeah. So the way permanent effects work is the second that you have the ability, or the second that you come into the realm of that card effect, it will automatically activate. So if you start the attack and you've got 5 cards in hand and you combo 1 going down to 4, that permanent ability will immediately trigger and you'll gain double strike.
So he probably should have just all in.
Oh yeah,
All
or
those
at least knock 1 card out of his hand.
To give them all double strike.
Yeah, then they would have all had double strike. Yeah, it was one of those things that you do against Cell because you could just eat your hand down to give everything double strike. But yes, the permanent skills, the second that they can trigger, they will trigger.
Okay. Marcel, not out of the woods yet, though. 2-2. Passes turn. Only like 3 cards in hand. Oh, it does have Super Saiyan Gotenks in hand.
A lot of energy, though.
A whole bunch of energy, as it turns out. Here comes out Super Saiyan Gotenks. His opponent only has 2 cards left in deck.
Again,
No, that's what
going
just
down
happens
there.
all the time. Maybe he'll mess up and put a card under Cell? Unlikely, right?
No, there's no way. Is there? You think he
If he
would?
puts a card under sell, Scotch, could he be like, oh, never mind?
No.
So as soon as that card goes under sell, it's like, that's it.
Yep.
Negate by Marcel. Oh my goodness. He does have go tanks maybe or
2 negates in hand for Leeroy.
he's gonna pass though. What? I guess he just have 2 negates, so maybe he's okay.
Wow, Marcel just ripping all of his extra cards right now.
Marcel just gets them, but like I'm trying to think about Leroy here. It's interesting turn because he has 2 cards left in deck. He's gonna draw one at the next turn. Yeah, Cobb in hand. I wonder why he just didn't play Kaba. Maybe he's just trying to give himself one more turn.
Imagine who? Imagine Boo coming into play. That's how you can tell Marcel just doesn't care about how many cards are left in his deck. That tells you he's got at least 10, 12 in his deck
he
right
has
now.
A couple. We can see his deck right there. It's pretty short, but Leeroy looks a little flush right now. Putting his hands up, just being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I have 2 cards left in deck.
Go tanks.
Oh, piercing coming out, maybe. It looks like Marcel might have about 5 cards left in deck.
He's going to get rid of that Kava, keep the negate.
I think he has to.
Yep. Then you take the hit to take the 1 card, going down to 1 life.
Shoot, what did he draw right there? What is that? Looks like a negate.
I don't
but
know, I
don't
can't
think
see.
so.
Yeah. Well, he had the negate.
Yeah,
he had
so
1 negate, but
okay,
it's a
so
Mighty
it's a
Mask.
Mighty Mask, yeah, okay.
Swing with Boo. Boo for game. Boo for game. And that'll do it. 2-0 for Marcel Russell.
Interesting, Scotch. Interesting. I don't know what you do.
It was definitely, the kind of matchup where you knew it was going to be a grind matchup from the beginning.
Oh yeah, we talked about that almost immediately. And like I said, it's one of those things where the first person to be the aggressor usually wins the match because you don't have time to work your way back out of a hole. Mostly because you don't have enough cards in your deck. That's what we saw. He just ran out of cards in the deck. He can't.
Both games.
What's he gonna do?
Both games down to 2 or 3 cards left in deck, and at that point, you're not able to find any other cards because there's nothing else left. At that point, you literally can tell what the last 3 cards are in your deck, and you're just like, what do you do?
I don't know what to do. It sucks. It's what you do. You say this sucks because there's situations too where you'll have, and I've been in those situations before in grind decks where you'll look at your hand, you'll have like a Piccolo, and your leader, and you're like, I can't attack with it. If I use Piccolos, I die. If I attack with my leader, I die. Sometimes if I attack with Kel, I die. You know what I mean? And so it's actually like it shuts off cards in your deck. So you have to be very, very careful. It's a very interesting situation to be in for sure.
And Goku has the same problem in the mirror because they're both just grinding, and at some point somebody has to attack, but you're just trying to get advantage. You're board clear, and it comes a point where you look and both players only have 5 cards left in deck, and it's just at that point who can hold out the longest,
Right.
or who can make the biggest push.
Yeah, I think Monarchs says it perfectly. He probably shouldn't have TN himself. We talked about that a lot when he did it. Yeah, just not what you want to do in this matchup. I understand that awakening is important, but I think what Leeroy should have done is put some results for training in sideboard, and then against the Soul Striker matchup, just sideboard out TNs for results. And then you just try to use result to awaken. Again, life is really important in the matchup. That's why we used to have TNs Mayboard and Soul Striker. I don't know if you remember that back in the day, in order to try to beat hand destruction decks or just to awaken early in general. And we realized in the mirror match, it was the person who TN first lost because they had the health disadvantage and they would just be taken out, do that. So I think that's kind of what happened there. Was he went down to 4 life so fast that he had to use so many cards to defend that he couldn't have that little bit of extra offense he needed to possibly get back into the game.
That was about the time that we also saw TN starting to fall off from just pure play in general. The only decks that were playing it at that point were androids, because it was becoming too detrimental.
Yeah.
It was too detrimental because at least if you're taking the damage, those cards are going to your hand. If you TN, you're losing a card from your life to pop a card, and then you're gaining a card from your life. So it's like a catch-22.
Yeah, not to mention players are getting smarter, and they're starting to attack you at 7, knock you to You know what I mean? Like knock you at 8 to 7, so that way your TN's
Going
even
down
more
to 3.
awkward. So you go to 3. It's just like, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, again, TN's fine. I also would really like to have seen Leeroy sideboard into the cell package. I feel like that would have been a good way to take advantage of this grind up game too.
Not gonna lie, if that hit me, I'd be like, huh?
I think
Where
Marcel
did
would
that
have been
come
caught off
from?
guard. I think he'd been like, "What is that? What do you mean?"
It's like when Danny Hype drops a 7-drop out of nowhere. You're just like, you got it,
I
dude.
guess
You
you
got me.
It happens. All right, guys. Any questions? I'll ask.